Let's talk about how to avoid emotional eating and binge eating experiences when you're trying to lose weight. This is a topic that Evan brought up in a comment in a recent video. If you have any topics that you'd like me to cover in future videos, please be sure to drop them down in the comment section below. Now, there's two big reasons I see that lead most people to binge eating experiences, and they're the same reasons that kept me stuck in a yo-yo diet cycle for years. Number one is that you're too aggressive with your calorie deficit. You're eating too little and eventually get to the point where it's just not sustainable and you end up feeling just ravenous and out of control and you pig out. You have that binge eating experience. Number two is that you're too restrictive with the foods that you're consuming. So public service announcement here, when you're trying to lose weight, you don't need to stick with just chicken, broccoli, and rice or tilapia, rice, and asparagus. You can work in a lot of your favorite foods. So the problem is that a lot of people they'll eliminate a lot of the favorite foods. Maybe they'll even eliminate carbs or really restrict them severely. And then when they're faced with a temptation, they're like, holy smokes, it's been so long since I've had this. And once they have a bite, they just can't control themselves and they end up just devouring everything in sight. Or if they are able to tell themselves, they will themselves through the entire fat loss process and say, I'm not gonna have any of my favorite treats until I achieve my fat loss goal. They are able to do that, but once it's all in their head, as soon as I get there, I can't wait to have this treat. It's gonna be the best reward ever. Next thing you know, once they have that reward, they can't stop themselves. They end up regaining all the weight back. So that's a common reason why you see a lot of people regain the weight they lose, sometimes even more afterwards, because they were overly restrictive with the foods that they were consuming. And again, being oftentimes too aggressive with their calorie deficit. So they were eating too little. That's just not sustainable. So ways to work around this, ways to avoid that from happening. Number one is to select a calorie target or eat the portion sizes that are going to challenge you throughout this process and lead to some consistent weight loss each week, but not be overly aggressive. It's something that can be sustainable throughout the entire process. For myself personally, that's around 2,000 to 2,100 calories each and every day. Now, when it comes to fat loss, I tend to look at things on a weekly basis. So if it's 2,000 calories per day, I'm looking at 14,000 calories for the week. And in the past, if you download the Lose Fat, Get Jacked, the free nutrition guide, I'll include a link down below in the description, as well as a top pinned comment. It includes 3 different sample meal plans the 3 meal plans I followed when going through different fat loss phases. The 12-week fat loss phase, I did, there was one day where I would eat in excess. It was out with the guys and I used that as my kind of cheat day where I ate more, but then I was really restrictive throughout the week. That worked for me in that time. I was able to achieve my goal, but what I found was the day after eating in excess, I didn't feel so hot, and then I had to be really restrictive throughout the rest of the week to make up for that, and my energy would taper off. My performance would taper off as the week went on. Whereas when you look at the 28-day meal plan that I followed, the mini cut that I went through, I kept things consistent at 2,000 to 2,100 calories each and every day through the entire 28-day period, that 4-week mini cut. And I found that my energy stayed sustained throughout that entire time. My performance was leveled. Actually, I kept performing better and better as the weeks went on, even though I was in a calorie deficit there. So things to be aware of. And I find it kept my appetite in control so much better as well. Whereas when it came to, it was Friday nights, during that 12-week fat loss phase where I would have that, I'd eat in excess out with the guys there. Come Friday morning, it's all I could think about was going out with guys and finally being able to eat again. So I became somewhat food obsessed leading up to that point. I can't wait to eat this. I can't wait to eat this. And then again, eating it, you just can't control yourself. So it was a cycle, but I was still able to achieve my goal at the time. I just made it a lot more difficult on myself mentally and physically because I didn't feel as good throughout the process as I did when I kept my calories consistent throughout. So find that intake that's going to allow you to stick with it for the long term, not so aggressive where it's going to lead to those binge eating experiences. The other thing is to incorporate some structure into your nutrition as well. Make this as mindless and effortless as possible. So have a lot of go-to meals that you're going to consume on a daily basis or throughout the week. For myself personally, I always know what I'm going to have for breakfast, that shake that I have each and every day. My second meal is typically eggs, veggies, oatmeal, and berries. My third meal is usually Greek yogurt and berries. And then dinner, I have some of my go-to meals, whether it's salmon, rice, and a veggie like Brussels sprouts, or it might be like a chicken fajita bowl. It might be breaded pork chops with some homemade yellow potato fries and some veggies or sweet potatoes in there as well. So incorporating a little bit of variety in my dinner, but I know I have certain meals that I go to each and every week. Again, it makes it mindless and effortless. So whenever I'm like in a jam, like, oh my God, what am I going to have? I'm in a rush. I'm like, all right, Greek yogurt and berries. I know what I'm going to have. I don't have to think about it too much. So having that structure in place keeps things a little bit mindless and effortless and leads a little bit less to feeling that temptation to eat off plan there, but making sure you're incorporating the meals and the foods that you look forward to eating each and time. Like those are all meals. Those are all foods that I look forward to. If I don't have them, I kind of feel a little thrown off, like I miss them. So that is key as well, making sure that you're enjoying every meal, preparing it in a way that really satisfies your taste buds and satisfies your energy as well. So making sure that you're providing your body with the micronutrients and macronutrients that it needs to thrive. So oftentimes, like if you're missing something, like if you're eliminating fats or you're eliminating carbs or something, that can lead to a trigger. It's kind of your body's way of saying like, you're low on this, you need to eat it, and you just start craving it more and more. So that's something as well. So making sure it's a balanced approach with your nutrition. I personally follow like kind of 40% carbs, 30% protein, 30% fat. Never exact on, it's just where it naturally tends to fall. But the other thing is being flexible. Although you have structure in place, allowing yourself to be flexible with that. And again, incorporating your favorite treats. Maybe you know there's certain days that you want to have a certain dessert or something. Include that into your meal plan and have it hit your calorie target for the day or for the week. But if someone invites you out for dinner, you're like, oh my God, I'm trying to lose weight here. I can't go out. No, like that's not cool. You want to live your life to the fullest. That's what this is all about. It's thriving. It's bringing the greatest joy to your life. You want to be feeling and living your absolute best life possible. So you don't want to turn down those kind of opportunities. So you're like, all right, they invited me out. I can eat a little less throughout the day leading up to that, or I can eat a little bit less afterwards, maybe the next day, eat a little bit less, but I'm going to be responsible in that situation. I know I want to have one of my favorite treats is there. I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to enjoy it responsibly. I'm going to take my time chewing. I'm going to savor every bite. I'm going to enjoy the company I'm with. And once I feel satisfied, it's okay to push that plate away, even if there's still some on it. I'm done. I'm satisfied. I don't need any more. If there's some left, you can either say, forget it, I don't need any more, or you can have it the next day. That's the beauty of it. You can have a treat each and every day. In that 12-week meal plan that I had there that I followed, you'll see I have treats. Most days, I just had them fit my calorie target for the day or for the week there. So you can incorporate all of your favorite foods. So giving yourself that permission, that's what I found is that when I was taking that all or nothing approach, I was always thinking about my favorite. I can't wait till I achieve my goal and I can finally eat those foods. Whereas once I gave myself permission, telling myself, you know what, if I want to have dessert every single day, I can have it every single day. Just have it fit my calorie target. Just giving myself that permission in and of itself, I found I became less tempted to eat it, knowing that I can have it again tomorrow. And I became less tempted to overeat it because I know I can just eat it to satisfaction right now, really truly gain the greatest joy from that dessert right now, and I can have the second half of it tomorrow as well. So being responsible with those portion sizes. And I want you to know it takes time. It takes practice. So don't beat yourself up. Don't feel guilty. Don't think that you threw in the towel here because you went off plan and you ate a treat. You're no longer perfect here. You blew it. Might as well just pig out and start over again. You didn't. It all fits into the overall plan. You can all enjoy it. And I forget where the heck I was going with that. But yeah, keep it simple. To practice. It takes practice. It's taken time for me to get to this place where I'm at right now, where I can eat to that point of satisfaction, where I can really savor every bite. It's been about 7 years now since I've ever felt like over full, ate beyond that point of feeling full, satisfied. Usually for the most part, I prefer to eat to the point of satisfaction. Occasionally eat to that point where I'm full, but not uncomfortably full. So it took time. It was 13 years ago that I lost the 50 pounds of fat, and it took a good 5 years to kind of work through that cheat day kind of mentality, that cheat day experience, and realize, you know what, whenever I overeat, I go to bed with feeling uncomfortable, full and bloated. I have acid reflux, so I'm like choking on my own vomit in the middle of the night. The next day I feel sluggish, so there's no benefit that comes from me overeating. I'm better off just eating to the point of satisfaction. But be kind to yourself, compassionate towards yourself, knowing that it takes time. Nelson Mandela, you win or you learn. So either you go through that experience like, yay, I ate to that point of satisfaction. This is freaking awesome. I want to experience that again the next time. But there might be a time where you overeat a little bit. All right, what can you learn from that experience in order to improve the next time you're faced with that situation? Now, emotional eating, I mean, there's all kinds of emotions that we deal with. I mean, even joy. You could be at a family gathering, at a birthday party, at a wedding, at a reunion, and it's just, there's joy in the air, and we celebrate with food. And I think that's absolutely awesome. But you don't need to binge, you don't need to pig out in those experiences to experience a joy. So recognize that you're experiencing feelings of joy. What's going to enhance those feelings of joy is to sample a lot of the foods that are there. Savor every bite, savor every sip, savor the company that you're with, enjoy it to that point of satisfaction, and feeling even more joy from just pushing it away, knowing that you're doing what's serving you best in that moment. Now, if you're binge eating or emotional eating because you're feeling sad, that's a tough one in and of itself. Again, like eating more isn't necessarily going to make you feel better. Actually, a lot of times afterwards, especially if you're feeling guilty, beating yourself up, thinking that you blew your diet, like that's just going to contribute even more to that sadness. So what you want to do is do something that's going to serve you best in that moment. And it may be like either getting on the phone, going for a walk while you're talking with a friend, or inviting them out. Let's get out for a walk, which is going to kind of get those feel-good endorphins going, get whatever is off your mind that's making you feel sad. Maybe they can do something to brighten up your day as well. But just to remind yourself of all the good, everything that you have to be grateful for in this journey, but having someone to talk to, maybe it's a professional at that time as well to kind of help you get over that sadness, but just knowing that the food is just going to contribute more to the sadness rather than trying to bring you any kind of joy. It's not going to bring you joy in that moment. If it's stress that is causing the emotional eating, once again, recognizing that overeating, binge eating, is not going to make that stress go away. Once again, it's just going to add more stress because you're feeling guilty about not being able to stick to your plan. You're beating yourself up, again, thinking that you blew your diet. So it's just going to add more stress. So what's better off in that situation is learning to manage your stress better, like get to the root cause of the problem. Why am I stressed? What are the potential solutions that can help me overcome this stress? Like, what's the problem I'm facing? Do I need to ask someone for help to help me get through this problem here? Or maybe just sit and reflect. All right, I know what I got to do in order to get through this. It sucks that I have to do this, but I've got to do this one thing in order to get this stress off my mind and do better. And then do other things that are going to help you manage your stress better, whether it's maybe meditation, maybe it's just getting for a walk out in nature, maybe just sitting out in the backyard, a little silence, having a bonfire. Just a variety of things that you can do to kind of help manage your stress. Exercise is usually beneficial in a lot of cases there. Boredom is another one. And again, like boredom is filling the space in there, but you're much better off finding activities that are going to prevent you from being bored. Like, what do I want to do? What would bring joy to my life in this moment? Rather than sitting here being bored and turning to food to kind of fill that gap there, what kind of activities can I do that's going to bring joy to my life? Even if all your friends are busy. I'm a single bro. A lot of my friends have young families. Oftentimes, it's me getting out on my own. I'll go to an event. I'll go to a movie. I'll go to a festival. I'll just go do something that is going to bring joy to my life. I'll go for a walk. I'll go for a hike. I'll go find some sort of activities that are going on in the area and enjoy those experiences, feel fulfilled and rewarded from that overall experience there. So I think those are the main emotions that I think we deal with that oftentimes will lead to eating. Again, it takes practice. It takes time. And these are just based on my own personal experiences, some things that have helped my clients who dealt with like kind of the mild cases of this. For some, like dealing with the binge eating and the emotional experience, like you may need like professional help, seeking some sort of therapist, a therapist who specializes in the emotional eating and helping you manage your stress better. Like talk with a professional, help you manage your stress better can be the key. That could solve your nutrition problems just by learning how to manage your stress a lot better in life. So lots of different issues, lots of different options out there to help you overcome that. But I hope like the structure with the nutrition, learning to be flexible with your nutrition, giving yourself permission to be flexible there, not being overly aggressive with your diet, not being overly restrictive with your diet, learning to handle your emotions more responsibly in a way that's going to serve you best. Like really in each moment, thinking to yourself, does this serve me well? Is this an expression of the best version of myself where I'm at right now? And sometimes it is like enjoying that dessert and doing so responsibly is what's going to serve you best in that moment. So really, I love food. I freaking love food. I don't know anyone who doesn't really love food. So it's just gaining more love from the food by savoring every bite, taking your time chewing and eating it responsibly really adds to that eating experience, that dining experience. I think brings greater joy to that experience when you truly gain that kind of satisfaction from the food that you're eating.